All right, so here we go. We got all of our parts and pieces cut here. You notice I do have a backer piece. All right, this backer piece is cut because construction paper is flimsy, and when you glue it together, it makes it nice and firm. It also stops things from curling. Paper likes to curl. So when we're doing this, it's hard to just glue everything and then just stick it on top of there and just hope it lands perfectly. Doesn't work very well. So what you want to do is you're going to line things up really carefully, and we only do this with big parts. Smaller parts we glue on differently. We glue on there very, very carefully, and we get things lined up really, really nice all the way around. And you can see we got it set up in the exact right spot. And then we put something heavy on top of it. All right. With that heavy object, it'll hold in place. Then we fold it up, and we're going to glue it down, and then we'll flip it up again. So here we go. Glue stick out here. Fold it up, make sure we take our time, put things in the correct spot, make sure we get all the way to the edges. It is more difficult than it looks. This one's pretty easy, but the more difficult ones you do, it'll get harder. So we take our time, do it nice and neat. Don't take too much time or the glue will start to set. And then we'll smooth it out. And we move our heavy object over to the other side. And now we're able to fold this side up. Get the glue together yet. And finish gluing it down. So around the edges. And get it glued down nice. Get everything in there. And smoosh it down. And put some good pressure on it. Everything stays nice and flat. All right. If this was a bigger, fancier one, you may even take this and set it underneath some really heavy books for quite some time to get it to lay flat. The later videos, when we do more difficult ones, you may see me doing that. All right. Now we got to glue everything else on. Now you can see some sides look nice, and some sides have little bird marks. And bird marks are the downside, so you want to put glue on the bird mark side. All right. So there's two ways of doing this. You can either put the glue in exactly where it goes, and it's a little bit difficult with this clear glue. If we have purple glue, you can see it a little bit better. But put it exactly where it needs to go. And then you can drop it on there, and the circle's pretty easy to put on there. And kind of wiggle it in the right spot while it's still wet. Then when it's in the good spot, you push it down, you put some really good pressure on it. Make it look really nice. The other way of doing it would be to add the glue to the actual part. And then once that's done, you flip it over and you glue it down. And very carefully put it in the correct location and put some pressure on it so it stays put. All right. All right. So when the glue stick is wider than the actual part, it's important to glue the actual part and not on here, because you can smear it along there. And then it doesn't look quite as good because the glue, even though it dries clear, it doesn't dry perfectly clear and it looks kind of gross. So I highly recommend on small objects like this, you put the glue on the small object and then glue it on there. So light it on there and very carefully put it in the correct location here. And line it up and push it down good and firm. You can see it's a little bit off here because the paper kind of bends a little bit. You can kind of squeeze it into place. I think I got it there pretty good. All right. And then the same thing with these ones. They're bigger. The glue stick's bigger than the part, so you can't just slap it in there. So I'm going to glue it on the table here. And then make sure to wash the table off after you do this because it makes kind of a mess. And remember, we copied and pasted the eyes, so they're both exactly the same. If you're doing parts and pieces that look kind of the same but aren't exactly the same, you're going to want to really take your time to figure out which ones go where and all sorts of fun stuff. But like I said, we'll do more difficult ones later, and we'll show you the tips for those ones. But this one's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. So we'll get these put in there. And there we go. There is our nice emoji. We're going to put everything back in a way. I'm going to wipe our table down when we're done. But there is our emoji in all its glory. So there we go.